was getting long, so I'm growing it back out a little bit more.
It's not like I'm dialed in. This is serious, Julian. It's nothing like.
It was just growing a little bit long. Just wanted to. It felt too long, and I was like, I'm gonna cut it a little bit. See what it's like. I grew it out a little bit.
Sayin, how are your approaches? Obviously, came in last year. You had a chance to kind of watch and obviously you could be the guy this year. How are you approaching it?
Yeah, it's been good. Just trying to get better every day. Coach Fessler's done a really good job with us, and we're just improving on our fundamentals, getting better with the scheme. So it's been good.
How do you think you've come along vocally as a leader over the last year, especially getting a chance to watch Will and how he operated last year?
Yeah, Will was a really great leader for this team, and it was fun to watch. I mean, he was someone who everyone kind of could relate to and liked by everyone. I think if you went around the Woody and asked about Will Howard, everyone had good things to say about him. So I think that's something that I'm trying to take that approach.
Is that easy?
It's definitely not easy, but it's something that we're working on.
Are you liked by everyone?
I hope so. You try to when you're in the building, you try to leave a good impression or impact on everyone in the building. So.
I was talking Monday about how the quarterback has to be the first guy or the last guy out, all of those kind of cliches. Is that something that you've always kind of held on to and tried to be, or is that something that you've had to learn to do over time? And is that something that you learned from Will?
Yeah, definitely something I learned from Will. And Coach Day's been instilling in our quarterback room that, you got to be the toughest guys on the team, got to be the hardest workers. And that goes to Coach Mick, too, being in the weight room, just being tough guys.
What's it like knowing somebody's probably watching every move you make? You understand what I'm saying? And keeping tabs on everything, because like Coach Day said, you guys are judged from the first day you show up here, really.
Yeah, I think
that's.
Are
you leading? Are you doing the little things, etc.? What's that like?
I think
living
that's
that fishbowl?
kind of with when you're at a big time program like Ohio State. I think everyone's judged. Everything you do is important. How your locker looks is important. All the small details.
What is it like when you hear people
go ahead.
calling you basically the heir apparent? I mean, a lot of people think you're going to be the guy. What do you think you have to prove over the next several weeks and then preseason?
Yeah, I don't listen to the outside noise. I'm just focused on getting better every day. Getting ready for Friday's practice. Just improving on practice 3.
I was going to kind of ask the same question in that, how do you handle that? Like having that many people here to watch a practice, or walking around in Columbus when you know that the quarterback's probably the most judged position maybe in all of college football?
I think, kind of like I said before, I'm really just focused on the fundamentals and improving every day and just getting better. And taking what Coach Day, Coach Mick, and Coach Fessler are bringing to us in the quarterback room.
What do you think you have to get better at? A couple of areas of emphasis this spring. I want to this season.
Yeah, I think this winter I've gained a little bit of weight and gotten stronger, so that was a big point of emphasis in the winter. And really just focusing on just getting bigger and stronger.
How much bigger?
I gained about 10 pounds this offseason. So.
How much better? Like last year you weren't quite physically ready. How ready do you feel physically now?
I feel good now. Just being a little bit heavier, and it was good. It was big thanks to Coach Mick in this offseason.
How much do you think of being the starting quarterback at Ohio State? What does that look like to you? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's definitely the goal, but we're still a long ways away from it. Just we got 15 practices and just getting better.
What should that person look like, I guess?
Yeah, I think the toughest guy, first guy in, last guy out, kind of like everyone says, and being that leader of the offense.
What were you able to do last year? What stood out with you last year about Billy Fessler, what he was able to do with the quarterbacks, and how much did you specifically get to work with him?
Yeah, he had so much impact on our quarterback room last year. Him and Coach Kelly both did a great job with us, and I was really appreciative of those guys. We worked closely with Coach Fessler, and I was happy to see him get elevated.
How much different do you feel? You talked about putting on weight, but we talked to you a year ago during spring practice. You were just getting here. You come from Alabama. How much different a year later do you feel in this program as a quarterback, all those things? Yeah,
I think when I first got here, I was still learning how everything works and learning what you're doing. And now I think I know what I'm doing within the plays or within how the program works. So I think it's been good to just get adjusted, but still trying to improve.
And when you talk about toughest guy, first one in, last one out, there's 2 other guys that are trying to do that, right? How do you be that guy when 2 other guys know that that's what they also are trying to do to win that job?
Yeah, I think it's our room is very competitive, but we're also very close. It's only 3 guys in our room, so I think it's important for us to just be close, but also competitive.
Was it watching you throw to watch Go ahead.
Yeah. Watching you throw, one of the biggest things that stands out, I think, is how quick your release is and still how much zip you can get on the bars. How did you develop that quick motion?
I think I've naturally had a kind of a quick release, and coming out of high school, I always just kind of had a quick release, and I've been trying to get it quicker.
Go ahead.
You got to watch Will and Devin kind of battle last year. What did you learn from that? That maybe you and Lincoln can kind of take into understanding that, like, hey, it's a competition, but also like trying to get each other better for the team.
Yeah, I think Will and Devin had a great friendship, but they were also very competitive. So I think it was definitely good to see, and that's something that we have in our room this year.
How do you show you're the toughest guy when nobody can touch you in practice?
I think there's a lot of ways to show toughness as a quarterback. I think taking mental reps, finishing out plays, bursting through the line. I think all those can show toughness.
Just idea how much time you spend in the room.
We spend a lot of hours here. We're watching tape, getting ready for practice. So we spend a lot of time
Do you
here.
have a confidence? I'm going to get here before Lincoln today. Is it like I'm going to stay later than Lincoln?
I wouldn't say that. I think we all the whole quarterback room is held to a standard, and we all are together in this, trying to be on time and show up early, stuff like that.
There's a lot that comes with being a quarterback here besides what you do on the field. How prepared are you for that aspect of it? When you struggle, you're going to get beat. It's getting crazy. How prepared are you for that?
Yeah, I definitely I saw that last year, and just how much noise there is. But I think you have to block out the noise, and I'm just focused on spring practice and just getting better every day.
We're talking to you a lot about like leadership, things like that. From year one to year two, where have you made the biggest leap with the ball in the field? More questions for the QBs, folks.
I would say, I think just knowing where I'm going with football and understanding football IQ. I learned a lot from Coach Kelly, Coach Day, and Coach Fessler, and they've been, there's still more room to improve and room to grow, but I think I've learned a lot.
What's it been like to work with Brett Harline compared to what you worked with Coach Kelly last year?
Yeah, I love Coach Harline. He had a lot of impact on obviously the offense last year, so we have a good relationship, and the first couple of days of spring practice, been loving him as the OC.
How much are things changing, you think, under Coach Hartline offensively? Much?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, what have you noticed? I guess is what I'm asking.
I'm not sure.
You're supposed to say?
Yeah, I'm not sure what I would say about scheme wise. I wouldn't. Yeah.
But do you like the direction it's going? I guess as well.
Yeah, I like him as OC. I like him as our coach. So I think it's been good.
And how key was it Billy Fessler sticking around? How key was that for you? You talked about it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
But when Coach Kelly leaves, I would think you're going, hey, what's up? And then Coach Fessler's still there. What does that mean to you?
No, I think we had so much trust in Coach Fessler last year with him just helping out the offense, and I was really excited to see him get elevated, and can't wait for
Julian Ryan prides himself on being really tough on the quarterbacks, testing them physically, testing them mentally. How has he done that with you, and how have you responded to that?
Yeah, I think Coach Day definitely tries to make it tough in practice on the quarterback, so it's a little bit easier in the game. But I think it's been good, and I think the whole quarterback room loves the challenge.
You like the hard coaching?
Yes.
All right, Julian. Thank you.
Thank you.